Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's now 5:30 p.m. on Monday, June 24th, 2019. I'm calling this meeting of the Paris City Council to order. The invocation will be led by Gene Anderson, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be directed by Councilmember Portugal. Everyone, please stand.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, we're indeed thankful for your many blessings upon this nation, and we just pray, Father, that you'd guide and direct our leaders and give them understanding, Father, beyond their normal understanding, that they might make decisions that are pleasing in your sight. And Father, we thank you for all those that are here tonight and all their contribution to our city, and we just pray that you'd be glorified in all these things, for we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personal appeals, are not appropriate for Citizens Forum. The Citizens Forum is now open. Anyone have anything to address the council, please step up and give us your name and address. You'll have 2 minutes.
Hello, James O'Brien, 3150 Bonham Street. I sit on the P&Z Commission, and my sole purpose is to thank Mr. John Lee for his service over the past 6 years, as next month will be his last meeting for the Planning and Zoning, and I wanted to thank him for his dedicated service to the Planning and Zoning for the City of Paris.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council? The Citizens Forum is now therefore closed. We have three proclamations today. The first proclamation celebrates the 100th birthday of Thomas David Mallison. Proclamation. Whereas it has come to the attention of the City Council of the City of Paris, Texas, that Thomas David Mallison will celebrate his 100th birthday on June 25th, 2019, and whereas Thomas was born in Paris, Texas, June 25th, 1919, where his father worked as a printer and his mother was a homemaker, and whereas Thomas was passionate about photography and joined the Army Air Corps prior to the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941, and whereas he documented one of the greatest days of the 20th century with pictures taken of soldiers serving on D-Day as they departed on ships from England to Normandy, and whereas while serving as a tech sergeant at Randolph Field during World War II, Thomas was asked by newly promoted Captain Ronald Reagan to pen his captain's bars, and whereas Thomas was married to Dorothy for over 40 years, and together they had 2 children and 7 grandchildren. Now, therefore, I, Stephen J. Clifford, Mayor of the City of Paris, Texas, by the authority vested in me as Mayor of the City of Paris, on behalf of the Paris City Council and all citizens, hereby proclaim Tuesday, June 25th, 2019, as Thomas David Mallison 100th Birthday Celebration Day. If you will step up, and the Mayor Pro Tem, Ms. Paula Portugal, and I will present this to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the honor that you presented me, and I always did love this town. I finally moved back. After a few years, I finally moved back to Paris, and so I'll be here probably for the rest of my life. Hope it's a long time. And thank you.
Step over here.
Oh.
And another proclamation of life-saving awards to Colleen Dawson and Chloe Holbrook. Whereas the City of Paris, Texas manages and operates a public swimming pool for the recreational and physical needs of its citizens, especially its younger community members, and whereas it is crucial that the city maintain an adequate number of highly trained personnel, especially licensed lifeguards, to ensure the safety of all our guests using the city's pool, and whereas on Thursday, June 13th, an individual fell into the deep end of the pool and was unable to extricate himself and was therefore in immediate danger of drowning. And whereas lifeguard Chloe Holbrook took quick and decisive action to save his life, and whereas the stressed individual panicked and fought hard against his lifeguard, inadvertently threatening harm to her as well. And whereas lifeguard Colleen Dawson observed this potentially tragic incident and also took decisive action to aid both Chloe and the distressed and agitated individual. And whereas Chloe and Colleen worked together, extricated the young man, and saved his life, now, therefore, I, Mayor Stephen J. Clifford, on behalf of the entire City of Paris, do hereby express our deepest appreciation to Chloe Holbrook and Colleen Dawson for the quick and professional actions that saved another human life. Okay, it's coming in a second. I had to sign it here.
Being mayor's a lot more difficult than it looks. And they are, I think, back off to work, or they just got off work too. So. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. All right, next item, the consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda that any council member wishes to remove for additional discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion on this item. Motion for approval, a second by Ms. Hughes. Okay. All in favor? Okay, great. Item number 14, conduct a public hearing, discuss and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Lisa Short for a change in zoning from a two-family dwelling district, 2F, to a neighborhood service, NS, in the Mayor Addition, Block 4, Lot 23, located at 3206 Bonham Street. John, you want to discuss this with us?
Yes, sir. Very quickly, this is
Before you do, I want to
okay.
excuse myself from this.
Okay. Mr. Hughes is going to recuse himself. Go ahead.
This is a request for rezoning to neighborhood services. Neighborhood services includes a number of different types of uses. Not to go through the details of it, but our future land use plan and our specific zoning categories are not the same thing. There's fewer categories in our land use plan. So our future land use plan calls for retail. Retail can include commercial. It can include retail. It includes neighborhood services and office. So I say all that to say that this request for zoning for neighborhood services is consistent with the comprehensive plan, the future land use plan. And for that reason, at the Planning and Zoning Commission earlier this month, the staff recommended approval of this request. The Planning and Zoning Commission did unanimously recommend approval to the City Council this evening. In addition to that, we had persons who spoke for and against and received a petition. Because of that petition exceeded a certain percentage, approval this evening will require 6 votes from the City Council for approval. And since there's only 6 of you here, it will need to be a unanimous vote for approval this evening.
I will open the public hearing on this. Anyone wishing to speak in favor or in opposition to this, please step up, give us your name, and speak, please.
Hi, my name's Lisa Short. I live at 3206 Bottom Street. I've been there. I've been a resident there about 35 years. I've owned a business there about 32. I've always been. I never knew I had to rezone there till here a few months ago. So I went before the zoning and planning board, and they approved me. And I have a small tax business there. I run 4 months out of the year. I'm busy. All my clients come in from the west side. They park on the west side. And I'd like you to approve my zoning. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition or in favor to this item, please step up, give me your name and address, and speak, please.
Hi, my name is Glenda Garcia, and I live next door, adjacent to Lisa Short. I oppose this for several reasons, and the one reason is because I feel like they're encroaching upon our property because there's so many, the business has grown so much that there's so many cars out there that we can't hardly find a parking place anymore. And also, I feel like that my husband would not have been hit on a Saturday about 3 or 4 weeks ago if there hadn't have been cars out there, so that somebody could go down the road and be able to not be tailgated or anything, where it would be enough room for everybody to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing? Yes.
Hi, I'm Sheila Smithy, and I've lived at 3220 Bonham Street for 26 years, and my house is directly next door to Lisa Short. And I'm asking the City Council to deny her zone change request. It will decrease the resale value of my home. I have problems with customers in my driveway and ringing their doorbell, making a mistake by my home for her business. There is a concern for privacy, safety, and security. Her business disturbs the peace and enjoyment of my home. More than half of the neighbors who received this notice agrees that it's time for Lisa Short to move somewhere compatible for a business. The number of customers visiting her business can easily be verified, as I'm sure she has record of the number of visits. My husband and I have witnessed anywhere from 50 to 100 customers in one day during tax season, which is too much for residential. Also, there's a school bus stop at the corner of 32nd and Bonham, which again poses a safety hazard for children walking home because customers are parked at the same corner. Please put yourself in my position and think about how you would feel if a business was next door to you. It is unfit for our neighborhood, and I am asking the City Council to deny Lisa Short's request for rezoning. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Sherry Pritchett, and I live at 9932nd Northwest in Paris. Mayor Clifford and council members, I'm here to ask that you support the Building and Zoning Commissioner's approval of the zoning change at 3206 Bonham to a neighborhood service. 32nd Northwest is an extremely wide street, parking, no problem on both sides of the roads without blocking any driveways. There's no interference with traffic coming to and from the street. I have lived there for 15 years, and if 50 people a day come there, it's not at the same time. So parking is available for those that are there. I feel Ms. Short provides a necessary service to the community, and has done so for numerous years at that location. And it doesn't disturb the neighborhood. Her clients come and go with no loitering around in the area. And I'll finish by saying this zoning change will not affect the quality of life we have in our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kim McCann, and I live at 3220 Bonham Street. I've been living there since I was 6 years old, and I'm asking you to deny Lisa Short's rezoning request. A petition opposing this request has been signed by more than half of the neighbors notified. May I add, the neighbors who share a property line with Lisa Short both oppose this request, and all except for one neighbor on the same block where her property is located, all opposed it. The one neighbor who is in favor of her business is actually resides farthest away from Lisa, so I can understand how it wouldn't really affect them as much as it does us. So customer parking does impede traffic. There's a safety and security concern. They're both compromised as her clients are strangers entering and exiting our neighborhood. I have witnessed loitering in our yard because, we share a property line, so customers will sometimes walk around in our yard. They have also wanted to use the driveway to be able to park because they say there's nowhere to park or they don't feel safe parking on the street. And they realize that her business is next door, but they still try to see if they can get away with parking in our driveway and walk over there. While she may have been operating her business for the time she says, she's never been compliant, nor did she operate at the level she is now. The number of clients has increased, and her tax business is now a problem for the majority of our neighbors due to the traffic and congestion in our neighborhood. Lisa Short's other neighbor, James O'Brien, expressed his concern regarding traffic by posting a sign in his front yard by Bonham Street asking for drivers to drive as if their kids live here. So he too sees that there's an issue with traffic in that area. The business activity level is not compatible for an area surrounded by homeowners, and spot zoning could be in question. Lisa Short and her husband, Steve Thompson, also use the business as a nuisance. What business owner do you know hangs up tinfoil decorations and pie pans that crash into each other in day and night when any amount of wind blows? Now, I'm sure they'll have a reason as to there's a garden or flowers or something to keep birds away, but it really is a nuisance. Also, what business owner do you know shines a floodlight directly into your home from dusk until dawn? What business owner do you know digs a trench to divert rainwater from his property to his neighbors because they don't have rain gutters? These are just some examples of what we have experienced from Lisa Short and Steve Thompson. They have no incentive to reciprocate the actions of a good neighbor because they don't live at 3206 Bonham Street. They live in East Paris. Therefore, the disturbances they create never affect them because they can simply leave and go home. When I spoke with neighbors who signed the petition opposing this request, they stated they're afraid to speak out publicly against them because they are fearful of retaliation from them. I'm speaking on behalf of those neighbors today, and Lisa Short's tax service needs to be in an appropriate location that won't disturb our neighborhood and will allow convenience for her customers. Her business is not an asset to our neighborhood, it's a disturbance. I'm asking the City Council to deny Lisa Short's request to rezone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I guess I need to sign in here.
Anyone else wish to address the council? Come on.
Christmas, where do I start? James O'Brien, 3150 Bonham Street. I am the other neighbor across from on 32nd Street there. I don't even know where to begin with this. I think you've been told a lot of misleading facts, quote unquote facts so far, so I'll try to keep it brief. This business has been there for a long time. It's never caused a problem until recently. I say a problem, it's a perceived problem, and there's an underlying story here that you're not being made aware of, and I don't think it's appropriate to tell you right now. It goes beyond what this council is intended for. The reasoning for my signage out front is for driving cars, not parked cars. Okay, so let me clarify that. It's a generalized safety sign for people driving along Bonham that do 50, 55 miles an hour, and what is still a neighborhood. So the parking has never been an issue. They park along my side of my house. I've never had an issue. I've never had them try to park in my driveway, and my driveway is about 4 times as big as what the other folks have said. So that's never been an issue. Never had any problems loitering. And let me clarify, part of the rezoning, the reason for the rezoning is by changing neighborhood services, this would allow Lisa Short to have a sign. It allows her to get a signing permit. She's had sign permits issued in the past, I believe about 5 of them. And it's only until recently, until the complainant has brought this to the city, that the city has had to enforce this. So the loitering and misdirection would be easily fixed by changing it to neighborhood services, where she can legally put a sign out front, and there wouldn't be any misleading. Another complaint was also brought up, problem with Google Maps, the people having a problem using technology and be able to find it. Well, that's been fixed. Not an issue. I took the liberty of taking care of that, and her geo ID has been taken care of. It's not an issue. It never has been. It's not. This is another underlying issue of personal vendetta. That's what this comes down to. And this is going to continue and continue and continue, and it's going to continue to chew up city resources and time, police calls. I will tell you that the allegation that the gentleman hit was not true, to my knowledge. I took the liberty, after speaking with my wife, contacting the City of Paris Police Department regarding the incident, offered video footage from our surveillance. They said there was no incident there, nothing. So the allegation that the gentleman was completely false, and I believe that could be verified through police records. I have seen there's not a bus stop on the corner there on 32nd. It's out on Bonham Street. I have personally witnessed and will testify that while Lisa has been at the peak of her business, there's been cars parked on both sides. I have seen 2 buses make that short right-hand turn head on with no problem. There's not an issue. There's never been any complaints from any bus drivers. It's 32nd's a wide street. Bonham's a wide street. And that's why the future land use calls for that to be a higher intensity use. Okay, we all decided as part of the future land use to make that higher intensity. And so it follows the map. It follows our plan that we all agreed on. Yes, there's homes there now. Yes, it's a wider street, and it does call for a higher intensity. That's our plan. So I think we should stick with that. I think that's good enough. There's a lot more to go on there, but I think that's good enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, how are y'all?
Hello.
Council. My name is Richard Thompson, live at 3206 Bonham Street. Been studying on this, and Bonham Street is going to be one of the main thoroughfares. It is in the comprehensive plan, as I stated earlier. And I do like in section 12 and 1A is the fact that the decisions need to be based on what's best for the city of Paris. This is going to rezone. Times change. Things are going to change. People don't like that. I understand. I think the decision based on what has been said should not be based entirely on the largest and most vocal group of people. I think this would be a good move to approve this zoning for Paris. You'll get signs out there. You'll get other people knowing that you have businesses there. Though you might get another convenience store. We have a few places there that have made it over the past few years. Lisa Short's been there for 32 years. Never had one complaint. So I think it's a be a good deal for the city of Paris, especially the west side. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address council, please step forward. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and open it up for council discussion. Anyone have a comment on this item? Raise your hand. Let's talk. Mr. Tornado.
Okay, I'm against this.
What?
I am against this because you're putting a business in a family neighborhood, and that's what I'd rather see is the families. You know, that's the neighborhood there. You put a store and all these signs. People coming from Paris, it's one of the first things they're going to see. You know, what are we doing here? But I'm just totally against it. And these people, they don't live. If they lived in the house, maybe I look at it another way. But they come here and leave it and go back to their own area. Why don't they take that and put it where they live in a conversation?
I do know, I'm familiar with the area and I drove by there. I do know when the tax season, when it's busy, it's very crowded with vehicles up and down the street. And I was at a place of establishment across the street and I almost backed into somebody's vehicle. So I've actually experienced a lot of cars being over there. I don't know about the school bus and all that. That's, you know, two different stories from two different people. But I do know that some of the cars, they park close to that stop sign. It's not the owner's, not Lisa's fault where they're parking, but they're parking too close, and sometimes you have to ease out farther by the stop sign just to see the oncoming traffic. So at times it can be a safety issue, probably not so much when it's not peak season for tax service, but during tax service it can be trying at that point where the stop sign is.
Thank you.
I am generally against neighborhood businesses. I've got one in my neighborhood that we can't seem to shut down because he's not cooperative. I appreciate that Ms. Short has come forth and says I have a business and I didn't know I was in compliance, and I appreciate that. But considering that the future land use plan is for this to be commercial or retail, I drove by, of course it was on a Sunday afternoon, so it's hard to see what a business day would be like during tax season. It's a hard call. Feel for the neighbors who are against it, but it seems like the neighborhood is tending eventually toward that.
Mr. Pilgrim, Ms. Knox, either.
So the future, that whole future use plan there, we're going commercial there.
That's correct. The future land use plan calls for all of the frontage on Bonham to be some combination of office, retail, commercial, neighborhood services. So this is consistent with the plan that you adopted last year.
Yeah.
I drove by, Saturday is when I drove by, and, you know, I've always driven by there because that's my way to go to work, and I've always thought that that is the cutest little house. It is so well maintained. It is always super cute right there. I can imagine how it can get real busy. I live on a busy street myself where parking was an issue. I mean, it came before our council and we lost. And people are parking in front of our in front of our house that don't live there. And I understand how that can be, but we all live together. We all live together, and sometimes you just have to give. And if that fits within our plan, our future use plan, and Ms. Short has been there for 30 years, I don't understand why it's suddenly a problem.
That's kind of my feeling.
You know, it's a hard call.
Yeah.
It's a very hard call.
Here you're looking at a successful business for 30 years. I generally do agree with the residents in an area when they have a strong opposition to something. In something like this, though, they've been there for 30 years. This is the first time it's come up. There was a problem, and the future land use plan says that this is going to be commercial retail. You know, I'm still kind of in favor of going ahead and granting this, although it only takes one vote to kill this, basically. So we have to be, if it's not unanimous, this zoning change will be voted down. So any other comments, discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the petition to change zoning from two-family dwelling district to neighborhood services.
I'll second that. Okay, all in favor, everybody understand this is to change the zoning to the neighborhood
Services.
So all in favor of changing the zoning to neighborhood services, raise your hand. All opposed? Okay, since it is not a supermajority, it is denied. Okay. Next item, number 15, conduct a public hearing, discuss and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Melissa Schaefer on behalf of Ben Faber for a change in zoning from a commercial district to a commercial district with a specific use permit for used auto sales in the city of Paris, Block 41A, lots 1, 2, and 8, located at 305 North Main Street. John.
This is a specific area that's been used in the past for used car sales. I propose to do it again. It's already zoned CA, which is significantly commercial or mixed use. But because it's used auto sales, it requires a special use permit. Special use permits may have specific conditions applied to them. The Planning and Zoning Commission had their public hearing, recommended approval unanimously of this change, and decided to put no conditions on the granting of this SUP or special use permit.
I have a question on this one. The other used car lots that have the special use permits that are in the vicinity of downtown, when do those expire?
There's the one over by the market was given 5 years, and it has about 3 years to go.
Okay. And
that was something we specifically talked about, matching that or doing something similar to that. The commission did talk about it and decided not to put any conditions on this one because this is not so internal to the downtown area as that one. That's on a much more prominent corner, and because it was, in fact, a used car lot in the past.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get the public hearing out of the way. I'm opening the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, come forward. Please give me your name and address.
Hi, I'm Melissa Schaefer. I live at 3966 Farm Road 196 North. I am wanting to open a car lot on this 305 North Main. It has been a car lot for, I would say, around 40 years. It has sat vacant for several years. And so I would like to be able to open a car lot on it, and so that I can make the corner look more aesthetically, pleasing. We want to make improvements that are included on our site plan there, so that it kind of encases that whole corner together. And so I would like for y'all to grant me the specific use permit, please. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address us on this item, please step forward. Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. So I'll open this up for council discussion. Ms. Knox, you look.
Questioning?
Yes.
Okay, I wanted some verification a little bit. In here, it said that a special use permit was for 5 years, and
Can be for, it doesn't
5
need to be.
years.
You may put conditions on special use permit, but you're not required to.
okay. And the zoning commission voted to not,
No conditions, that's correct.
to put no, I wonder why.
Just didn't feel it was necessary because of the location. That doesn't mean you can't, but they did
Okay.
not.
And then there was also something in here about making upgrades to the parking lot,
Talked about that and also didn't take any action on that.
and planning and zoning said not to.
Correct.
That they didn't feel that was necessary too.
Correct.
Huh.
And again, I don't want to speak for them. I think that was based on two factors. One was the location, the prominent location, and the fact that it has been there in the past, and it has used that particular parking lot in that particular area.
Mm-hmm. I know, I'm familiar with the area.
Sure.
But I don't, I didn't examine the parking lot or anything like that, so I'm just gonna have to rely on the expertise of planning and zoning on this one. I mean, I would just think that, if we're gonna beautify our city, we're gonna beautify our city and not just say, oh, well, we're gonna require, 5 year for special use here and not 5 year for here because, the neighborhood might not be as aesthetically pleasing as another neighborhood might be.
Right. And like I said, it was discussed by the commission, and the council can add that. It's not that you can't add that based on their recommendation.
How many other used car lots are in the vicinity of downtown that fall under the special uses permit? Is it just that one across from the?
Well, all of them have to have a special use permit. The only one that I know of that has a time, and I may be wrong, the only one I know of that has a time limit was the one over by the
Farmers Market.
Farmers Market.
And that was because
there was a lot of concern.
there's a lot
about it
going
happen
on
at
there.
all. I don't think it was even approved in that way unanimously, if I recall correctly, because they weren't sure if they wanted it to be across from the farmers market. It's also not their primary use. It was an additional use to, I think it's a bail bond.
Bail bonds, yeah.
Bail bonds,
So,
yeah. And that area, I mean, it's what, 6 or 7 other car lots right there? I know Jones.
There's
a lot.
Yeah,
An
it's a
awful
tire
lot.
shop
Yeah.
across the street,
You know,
another detail shop just opened. So it's, I mean, it's,
Yeah, once you get to the north, it becomes commercial, and then it doesn't require an SUP.
Yeah.
So, and again, the future land use plan is retail, commercial, so that's consistent with that, but, you know.
Can I?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, I agree with Ms. Knox. If we're going to beautify our city, which we've spent a lot of money with redoing with the county, the north end of the parking lot at the courthouse, we've begun to put like a little pocket park or something to the west of that, and I would like to see some stipulations on this property that if they open, that there'll be some improvements.
Okay. Mr. Tornado, you had a.
Okay, drove down there just to look, you know. And from Pine Bluff to Provine, I think there's 5 or 6 used car lots already. And then you got the tire stores and all that. And they need to keep them clean first, I think all of them do. But I just don't think this is a good place to put a used car lot. And like she was saying, you know, we got that, they put that park over there. The parking lot at the courthouse has been extended. And, you know, people are coming into Paris, and, you know, we want to fix up our plaza, and I think they'll see this, and I don't want them to get a car lot.
Okay. You know, the way I see it is we have it's a vacant lot now, I guess. We could approve it for the full 5 years, or we could approve it for the 3 years and get it in sync with the other used car lots, so that when the 3 years rolls around, they can have this discussion again if things have changed downtown. That's kind of our choices, or deny it altogether. Those are our choices. I'm leaning toward getting it in sync with the other one at 3 years, and then revisiting it in 3 years if downtown is making big changes and it becomes inappropriate to have the used car lots that close to downtown. They can make that decision then. That's my thoughts.
Can you put a time limit on the other car lots that are there, the used lots, or they?
Most of those are not in the CA. Most of those are just allowed outright. So all the ones on Main Street, they have straight zoning, and that's part of the thing is if this was 3 blocks further, you wouldn't be allowed to have this conversation. So are you treating them differently than the others? Different zoning districts are different zoning districts. If you close the zoning district, it's still legal and it's still appropriate. So, but that's just kind of one of the concerns is that, you know, they're right there, and the fact that it's got that past history. But
Well, I don't have a problem with there being a car lot there. You know, I don't have a problem with that at all. I just found it interesting that, you know, special use permit, for some have a time limit and some don't have a time limit. I'd like to see it consistent. But like I said, I don't mind at all there being a car lot there at all.
right, and we offered, which I think is in the memo, we offered a couple of options, like the mayor has said, that to make it 5 years, which is what the same folks got before. Or make it shorter so that they expire at the same time, so that you can reassess what's going on. And part of that, again, remember Central Area, it's the downtown district by other name. And so, I wasn't involved in the case, but the other case that was kind of the things like, well, we'll let them do it for 5 years. And in 5 years, if the market's like booming like crazy, then we won't renew it. And if the market's not booming like crazy, then maybe we will renew it. So it was a temporary thing. Sometimes special use permits are also called temporary use permits. It's the same thing. So it's certainly something, I mean, if you guys are happy with that, I'm not recommending against it. It's certainly a viable option. And if that's the way you can maybe make all of you feel comfortable with doing on a temporary basis, then that might be a good approach.
so as a business, I mean, if I was looking to open up a business and you put these special permit instructions on there that I redo the parking lot and everything, and then I'm only signing a 3-year lease per se, then I've spent a large amount of capital for nothing. After 3 years, somebody else is gonna
Exactly.
enjoy
If you're
it.
having to make physical improvements, then it may not be worth your while to do that.
Yes.
Well, I'm just speaking towards the special use permit as
Yeah.
far as length of time.
Oh, length of
As
time,
far
yes.
as the parking lot goes, that's on them.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be in favor of requesting that. I just noticed when I read the background information
Yeah.
that, you know, there's some things that we could ask, or that had been recommended, and planning and zoning said, oh, no, we don't need this, we don't need that. But no, I don't mind there being a car lot there.
Mm-hmm.
I do think, though, that if it's gonna be special use, that it needs to be consistent with other special use permits, whether it's 3 or 5 years. I mean, I would say 5.
Okay.
But I would not throw fit if it was 3 years. But, you know, and you know, as far as the parking lot repair goes, that's not a stickler for me. But I do think that we do need to re-examine it at some point to see if it still fits in with the neighborhood.
Okay.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Ms. Schaefer, did you have any comment or question in addition to that? You looked like you were jittery a little there.
Well, I did want to say that when we took over the lease on that lot with the owners, we have started to fix the fence because the fence was all smashed down on one side, and so the landlord is trying to fix that up, and we need this vote today for us to have the specific use permit. But if we could get this permit, then at that point, I want to make it a beautiful corner. I want to make the fence all match. I want to make it all look good. I want the gates to look good and not be all broken down. The poles that stick straight up. There's all kinds of things that we do want to do in order to make that corner look good, because it's just been sitting empty for years now. And before that, it was a car lot. We've worked hard on getting the pavement that is there. It has had weeds grow up in it and stuff like that. We're working hard on getting that done. I've already sprayed weed killer down and stuff like that multiple times, trying to get a handle on that lot. And I'm not allowed to do anything with it, but if you would give me the right to open a car lot there, I would make it look good, because I don't want to run a business that doesn't look good, for one. And two, if you do drive by and look at some of the other car lots, they have chain link fences and they have weeds growing up in the fence lines and stuff like that. I don't want to run a business like that. And especially on that corner, you couldn't find a better place to put a car lot with all of that traffic there. So if I can make it look good, then I'm going to make more money, which is going to make more money for the city. So, I mean, I do want to be there. Our lease is 11 years. I've got 10 renewals on it. So if I could be there 11 years, I promise that you would never once look at it and think, oh, this is just a rundown car lot, because I don't want to be that person across from the courthouse. So I just really, really, really would like the opportunity to prove to y'all that I can make it look good and make it successful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any more discussion? I'll be fine with 5 years. So I'll make a motion that we approve the specific use permit for 5 years as written.
I'll second.
Got a second? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Next item, number 16, conduct a public hearing, discuss and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Raymond W. Smith for a change in zoning from a commercial district to a commercial district with a specific use permit for auto fuel sales in the City of Paris, Block 306, Lot PT of 2, located at 2510 North Main Street. John?
Yes, sir. This is the same kind of thing, again, except this is fuel sales, and it is in commercial fuel sales always require a special use permit. The purpose for a special use permit is not that it's considered outright a bad use. It's just in this particular area, does a car lot or does fuel sales, is it a bad location for specific reasons due to that spot? In this case, you would be looking at traffic, parking, things like that that were related to auto fuel sales. Also in this case, however, here's the map. This is already a closed gas station and a tire store. So this is at the corner of Main and the Loop, the northeast corner. This is the property here, if I can make my arrow work, this L-shaped piece of property. So those existing buildings will be demolished. A new CEFCO will be placed in there, so you'll be having a new building taking the place of two rundown old buildings. This has been fuel sales in the past, in the very, not very distant past at all. And in fact, there's continuing fuel sales at this gas station right here. So for those reasons, we recommended approval to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommends approval to you, as does the staff still.
What's the plan for the bottom half of that L, the south half of that? Is that just going to be vacant, or?
It'll be a driveway. There'll be a driveway coming out over here on the access road as well as over here. That may sound like they're adding driveways, but that's actually going to reduce the number of driveways because there's multiple businesses there now.
Okay. Need to open the public hearing on this. It's now open. Anyone wishing to discuss on this, please step up and give us your name and address.
Hello, my name is Mihir Mark Punkage, and I live at 3055 Oak Creek Drive, but I own the business that's right next to this lot. I own the Days Inn. That's one of my hotels here in town, and I've spoken with the gentleman that's wanting to put this project in, and I'm in full support of it. I think that it would actually help the area a lot, profoundly, especially with it being so busy on our roadways. We could use another gas station there, and especially because the current building as it is right now is really trashy. So it would be awesome to beautify that roadway and have folks enjoy that area. Secondly, the only other complaint I have is I wish I would just mow their lawn. That's just it. So if anyone knows anyone, I don't want to be that guy, but if they would just mow their lawn, we're good. So thanks, guys.
Okay. All right. Anyone else want to discuss this item? Step forward. Okay. Thank you. Seeing no one else, I'll close the public hearing, open it up for council discussion. Looks like a pretty good idea to me. Everybody's all right with this?
I make a motion to approve.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Item number 17, conduct a public hearing, discuss and act on an ordinance considering the petition of the City of Paris, Texas to amend zoning ordinance number 1710 of the City of Paris, Texas, specifically modifying provisions for planned development zoning. John, give us this one.
PD zoning, planned development zoning, is a tool that's been around for a long time, and it's to allow mixed-use zoning so that you have multiple uses that are normally addressed through straight zoning. For example, residential, commercial, office. If you mix all those together, there's no zoning for that. So the idea of a planned development, or PD zoning, was created so that you could have retail downstairs and office upstairs, or you could have residential upstairs. They're just mixed together, so it's just not practical. In Paris, as time has gone by, it's kind of evolved to where that's not what it is at all. In fact, our ordinance actually says it has to be different kinds of districts, which is the very idea of it not being a mixed-use district if you have to pick one of them. It's been used kind of for difficult properties. It's staff or council or P&Z, and I don't know the history of it. It's been going on for a long time. When they had a difficult property, oh, gee, we don't know what to do, or there's a neighbor dispute, we'll just make it PD and negotiate something. Negotiated zoning is typically not appropriate and sometimes not legal. It can also be a way around spot zoning. Spot zoning can be legal, but it's often not legal. A real PD is a large piece of property that because of its location or the topography, it lends itself to a large mixed-use development. In a lot of cities, a PD has to be at least 50 acres, sometimes as many as 100 acres. I'm only recommending 10 acres, but we do recommend that we convert this, and this is consistent with recommendation 1518 of the comprehensive plan to amend our PD ordinance to where it's a real PD, not what it's been used for in the past. Bottom line is PD has just not been used appropriately for a number of years. It is a potentially valuable tool for zoning and for future development. Presented this to the P&Z at its meeting earlier this month. It was unanimously approved and recommended for approval by the City Council this evening.
Okay, let's open the public hearing on this. Anyone step up if you have any comments about this, please. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and open it up for council discussion. Looks like a really good idea to me. Planning and zoning was on board, and it does tidy up some things and give us some options for development in the future.
So do you have any idea for like where these 10 acres are going to be?
In some cases, they could be infill. That's why we made it small on purpose, 10 acres, so there could be some infill projects. And then, of course, there's the large undeveloped properties around the loop and in southwest Paris. There could be some large ones. But the reason we made it 10 acres was so that we could maybe have some infill projects somewhere.
Any other comments or questions from the council? All right, I'll entertain a motion then.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve and a second by Mr. Tornado. All in favor? Good. Unanimous. Number 18, discuss and act on an ordinance adopting a hotel occupancy venue tax.
Mr. Mayor, this is just an ordinance that adopts the tax that was approved by the voters in our May special election. In order to actually start collecting the tax, we have to have an ordinance adopting it.
Okay. Any questions or comments? All right. I'll make a motion that we approve the ordinance adopting the hotel occupancy venue tax.
Second.
All in favor? All right. Item number 19, discuss and act on amendments to the Convention Center Management Agreement, previously referred to as lease agreement, and act on a resolution expressing official intent to reimburse costs of the Love Civic Center project.
There's two parts to this, and both parts need to be approved, we hope. The first part is kind of a wording, it is exactly a wording change, which seems crazy to me. But in order for these bonds, certificates of obligation or a type of bond, in order for them to be tax exempt without doubt, this needs to be a management agreement, not a lease agreement. So just some language needs to be changed. This language was provided by our bond counsel a few weeks ago to change that. And the second thing is the board of the Love Civic Center and the board of the Chamber of Commerce want to proceed now rather than waiting. We probably won't get actual money in hand until the first or second week of January. It takes a while to go through that process. That's our current schedule. You won't actually adopt approved sales until at least October, for example. So they want to go ahead and start now with reserves they have. They have capital reserves in their own accounts right now, so they will be using their own money. And the only reason that they need to do anything is because when we redid the agreement about 2 or 3 years ago, I inserted in there that they have to spend the money and then we reimburse them from the bonds. We don't just give them the bond money. They do work and then we reimburse them. So this is the same thing. It's just the reimbursement will be 6 months later as opposed to 30 days later. But it's consistent with the spirit of the agreement and allows them to go ahead and get started sooner rather than later.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? I need a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Item number 20, receive and discuss annual departmental reports from police, fire, EMS, and library.
And the police chief is going to begin this evening.
Mr. Mayor, Council, got some good news. Overall crime statistics in 2018 was 11.38% lower than 2017. That's the good news. The bad news is 2016 we had a spike. 2017 we came down a little bit. So basically over 2016 when we had the increase, we're about 4% better than what we were there. So I don't like to, 11.38% is a pretty good chunk. So we'll make sure you know how we got there. In 2018, our calls for service were down a little over 5,000 calls for service. Give you an explanation of why. Well, we just all ran off. We quit going to calls. No, we didn't. We've been short. And when we have calls for service, that's not only when citizens are calling needing police assistance, that's also officer-initiated calls for service. Traffic stops, suspicious persons, seeing something going on, and doing something about it. You probably saw a little bit of media coverage here in the last couple of weeks that we just got 6 officers out of the police academy and got them sworn in, and they started field training actually last Thursday. And so when you're operating 5 or 6 people short for a little bit over a year and a half from the time that you have the openings till you give the test, you get them through the academy, and you get through the field training, you have a lot less people working the street. And when we usually stock about 8 officers to a shift, and you have 6 openings, it's like we're operating 1 shift down. Our adult arrests were down 290, juvenile arrests were down 41. The police department also administers the animal shelter. Our intake in 2018 was 3,551 animals. We adopted or rescued 54.95% of those. That's a good stat, and I want to give credit where credit's due because that's Lamar County Humane Association's work. They did a lot of work on adoptions, they do a lot of work on rescues, and 55% of animals coming into animal shelter in a city the size of our town is impressive, okay? And I'd like to give credit to the LCHA. Those are good stats unless you're part of that 45% that didn't get adopted. And so that's the number we have to keep working on. To give you an idea of what we're working on right now, besides statistics, we have the NIBRS conversion coming up October 1. We're using uniform crime reporting right now, and uniform crime reporting is old. It was brought in the 30s and 40s. It has a hierarchy of offenses, and so if you have somebody break into a house, steal a car, kill somebody and run off, that's counted as a murder, okay? There's 3 other crimes involved in that, and under UCR, it was reported as just one offense. In NIBRS, which is the National Incident-Based Reporting System, all 3 of those crimes are going to be reported. So that really good 11.38% reduction in crime stats that we enjoyed this past year, we're going to go up 5 or 6%. I can tell you right now, just because of how the numbers are going to play out and how UCR differs from NIBRS. So that's coming up. Legislature never stops. They gave us a lot more statutory training that officers are having to respond and go through, so we're working through that. Talk a minute about K-9 unit and our fully staffed narcotics unit. We've had some major successes in drug arrests. Everybody knows that there's not a lot of marijuana grown here. There's not a lot of meth made here. It comes from someplace else to here. And so stemming that flow is a little bit more daunting because we have some major suppliers in larger cities to the north of us, to the south of us, and we have a lot of stuff coming that way. Does Paris have a bigger drug problem than anybody else? When I talk to other chiefs and other departments our size, we're comparable. I'm afraid there's an appetite for such things. And by having a fully staffed narcotics unit and having our K-9 unit, and I'm going to come back and talk about him in a little bit more here in just a second, we've seen some success. We have a lot of our cases that are being adopted by DEA and ATF for federal prosecution. And that's kind of a compliment that your local officers are working these cases well enough that they're being adopted by federal prosecutors. All right, so that's kind of the statistics and where we're at, where we want to go. Coupa and Officer Jeff Padilla had about 99 different call-outs in 2018. They assisted outside agencies about 8 times. They did tracks of suspects, building search, and was very impressive on how this dog works. He has got a shelf life, so to speak, which is about 3 to 5 years, and 5 is on the very far edge of it. So what we're talking about asking to go through in 2019, 2020, or a little bit beyond, is adding an additional K-9 unit. And I think this will be, Coupa is a dual-purpose dog. He's patrol and drugs. We're looking for just a narcotics dog because we can see where that would be a little bit more of a benefit than the dual purpose. They have downtime. We constantly change Padilla and Coupa's schedule. So anybody that may be thinking about coming through the town with any drugs or bring drugs, there's not a set schedule where he is working this day and time and and shifts and all that, we vary those a little bit. There's no known pattern. So we see where we need an additional canine unit for drug interdiction. And just like we got Coupa, there's a little bit of federal money involved in Coupa, but most of that came from forfeiture funds. Okay? Next thing we're going to look at is victims liaison. We have some good officers and we have good rapport with our victims of crime. But the day I ever stand in front of y'all and say, I'm satisfied with what we're doing, we can't do any better, you need to run me off. And so I think we could do a lot better. And what I see other departments doing is there's readily available grant positions for victims liaison personnel who, if somebody has never been in the criminal justice system as a victim, it's a hard road to hoe because you don't know what preliminary trials are or hearings, or we're going to have a hearing on whether or not this evidence can be in or if it's going to be excluded or whatever. There's a lot of things that take place in the criminal justice system that victims don't understand. I have a text message I got this morning from a victim that saw where the alleged perpetrator in her crime had been arrested again, and she's going like, what's going on? Why have we not already had trial? And so you have to make time for victims, and that's something I want to see us do a lot better so that they understand what's going on. Those grants are available, and they usually don't cost but about $10,000 or $15,000 worth of matching funds for a $50,000 or $60,000 grant, and I think that's well placed money. The next thing we're asking for in the new budget is voice over IP telephone system. The telephone system we have in our current building right now was installed when we moved in 2008. You don't realize that, boy, time flies. We've already been out there 11 years. This is an old, what you call a key system, uses regular POTS lines. And I'm almost embarrassed to tell you that when we have a telephone go down, we go on eBay and do Google searches and try to find these phones to replace them because they're no longer manufactured. We can only find refurbished. And the day our switch dies, we'll see what we're going to have to do at that point in time. That's just 11 years is a long time this day and time for any kind of technology. So we're looking at a new voice over IP that will, the rest of the city already has that type of system in place, and it's something that we will tie into. And that's got a big price tag of about $120,000. Last year, y'all did us a very good deal by allowing us to take our 20-year pay schedule and compressing that into 11 years. And that was really cool, very good. People enjoyed that, appreciated it. What we did is now we have senior officers making within $500 a year of their supervisor. And so this year I'm coming back to ask for a pay grade separation for supervisors that will cost us about $26,146. And that's just to expand the difference between a police officer and that first line sergeant, lieutenant, captain, et cetera. The only other thing we're asking for is assignment pay for detectives. We go through a specialized selection process. There's a true statement that your better officers become detectives. They have a bigger interest in it. They have a lot of extra training that has to take place, and we want to compensate them for that additional effort and additional training that's required. And that's my presentation, if y'all have any questions.
All right. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it.
Mayor, Council, it's the first time I get to get up here and speak with y'all, so thank you very much.
Good.
Make it good. Let's make it good. So a lot of things have been going on over the last 3 months that I've been here. Some of the things that we're working on, we're trying to become a more data-driven department, looking at the data so it can keep our firefighter safety and help us serve the citizens better. We're enhancing our EMS delivery to help our internal customer by showing up to some of the EMS calls and helping out the medics. It allows us to get there sometimes a little bit quicker to enhance the service delivery that we give our citizens. We have EMTs and paramedics that are capable of doing some of the same things that the ambulance is. We just can't transport. So we're working on that. We are discussing a possible contract with Lamar County for fire protection. They have reached out to us. I've sent them a brief request of what it would cost. They're going to get back with us. It'd be the same thing as what we have with the EMS contract, somewhere in those. So they would have to compensate us for our efforts. Firefighter safety, we installed the Plymo vents, which is the ventilation systems for the vehicles. We got a grant for that. So it only costs us $8,000 of the $90,000, which is good. They're in and they're working. We're working on the accountability system, where I've got helmet identification and air pack identification, so our firefighters are safer on scene and they can be identified. Of course, the SOGs that are written, the standard operating guidelines and stuff, are being reviewed. We're going to review them on a yearly basis, just to make sure that we're up with the standards and we're keeping everybody safe and we're doing the best we can for the citizens. Leadership in itself, we're doing a lot of training with the guys and how to lead and how to get yourself prepared for the next step and the next level. The FAST grant, we should know if we get, which is the fire truck grant, which is $500,000. We should know sometime in October if we were given it. If we don't get it, maybe we'll try next year. But we're hoping that we get that. That'll eat up 2/3 of the cost of a fire truck, which is really good. Training, we're working with the PD, Paris EMS, Lamar County. We're on an active shooter program, so you'll probably see coming up that we're going to have some training with PD on active shooters, school shootings, and whatnot. In the fire marshal's office, we're trying to create ways and looking at different ways to get more inspectors. I'm looking at our firefighters and maybe sending them off to training so we can start to inspect more of these buildings and get make the city a little bit safer for our residents. Code enforcement, as you know, is an ongoing thing. The city manager and all the departments heads have gotten together, and we are coming up with new and unique ways to enhance our code enforcement. We're going to educate the community. Myself and Robert are going to do a PSA with the local radio stations coming up here. We're going to try to get some articles out in the newspapers and do some advertising to explain what code enforcement is and what's a violation and what's not a violation. Some of the special things, like PD, we're trying to condense our supervisor pay, the seniority way, condense it in just like PD does. That will help separate, because our pay, the same as PD, is kind of coupled up on top of each other, where our firefighters and drivers and captains are not separated enough. We do need some of the things we do need. We do need station generators. Should there be a storm or something and power goes out, we lose radio communications, the heat or the air conditioning. The air conditioning is not a big deal, but the heat can be a big deal, especially for fire trucks because they carry water. And if we can't keep the bays to at least 40 degrees or whatnot, the water in the pipes can freeze and things like that. So we're looking at generators in the future to get them at all the stations. Of course, Station 3 is old. It needs to be replaced. And we spoke about that, putting that in the bond in the future, so possibly we can get that station replaced. It's over 53 years old. And it's real small. The fire trucks barely fit in it. We got some aging ladder trucks, some aging brush trucks that we'll look at in the future and try to devise a plan to replace those. We are working on enhancing our response by bringing in some high-angle rescue training, some building collapse training, some things that haven't been here. We do have old buildings and they could collapse, so we want a team that's trained and can respond to those incidences. Some of the opportunities, again, maybe we can work this deal out with the county and help them, and they can help us in return. Work on our ISO. We're partnering with Camp Maxey. They're going to allow us to go out there and train on their facility and open things up. So we're looking forward to that. Other than that, we're up and running. There's a lot going on. It's been a busy 3 months. At first, I thought I was going to come here and just look at things and, watch and learn, but it's moving fast, and we're making great progress. Is there any questions?
Chief, do you have all the firefighters that you need?
Yes. The city manager, we have a staffing plan in place, and yes, we are looking at upstaffing Rescue 3 in the future when we have it, but we're doing good. And that part of the deal with the county is that they would have to offer us up 4 firefighters to help staff some of our equipment, because that's what we would be giving them in return if they had a structure fire out in the county. So we're looking at creative ways to take care of that, so yes.
Thank you very much for your presentation, and welcome again.
Here we go again. Mayor, Council, first I want to say thank you. Thank you for supporting the city manager's budget for the EMS department in the past. Due to y'all's support, we were able to open the new North Side Station. The medics are really excited that they have a kitchen, that each of them have a bed, and the ambulances are inside now, and so they're protected, so they really appreciate that, and I do too, and thank y'all for that, and it's paid for, by the way. We'll be making some more improvements on it this fall with the upcoming budget as well, such as fencing and landscaping and signage like that. Your support has also allowed us to continue with our rotating replacement schedule for vehicles. We buy an ambulance every year. The fleet typically runs between 220 and 260,000 miles per year, and that is not slowing down. The current ambulance we will be trading in this fall has 260,000 miles on it right now. It's a 2012 model. We do that because we need to keep our readiness up. The staff runs a lot of calls. We run between 8,500 to 8,800 calls per year, and every single ambulance has a stretcher and equipment, and it all gets has a shelf life. It gets wore out. Stretcher especially. Stretcher, those are some of the replacement items that we are gradually building each year into the replacement plan. The ambulance, the stretchers, some of the other durable equipment that just gets wore out. That way we're not waiting till it fails on a call. We're preempting that. The other things we have radios and video laryngoscopes and CPAPs and BiPAPs and IV pumps and all the medical stuff that we do. Medicine's not getting less complicated. Medicine's getting more complicated. It's getting further out away from the hospital into the pre-hospital environment more and more. We do more and more things that they used to do in the hospital. We do it pre-hospital now. So there's a lot of equipment that goes on and supplies that goes on those ambulances. The next year we'll be asking, and told the city manager about this, that our LifePak 15s are now starting to be 10 years old. The next model is supposed to be coming out next year, according to the physio rep, and so we'll be asking for that replacement cycle to start as well. It's a pretty good chunk of change. That being said, our core mission, we provide medical care and transportation for all the people of Paris and Lamar County. Like I said, we run a lot of calls, and the call volume has kind of been static, right at static for the last 2 or 3 years. And that's not our biggest issue. It's taken longer to run calls for a number of reasons. First is patient documentation. Anybody that's ever been in the medical field knows that you got to document everything. And of course, we want to collect money to offset these calls, so even more paperwork goes into that. We also have difficulty now with offloading patients in the ER. Lots of times, if they're slammed, we're part of being slammed. We're running calls, and we're getting to the hospital, there's no beds. Ambulance is sitting there 20, 30 minutes, the crew is, trying to get free in case there's another call because there's no bed. That's nothing to do with their fault, not our fault, it's just the situation the way it is. You add that into the fact that we now run calls that are longer and longer in duration. patients we are transporting are going further away from when we have dismissals, for example, from Paris Regional or from Neighbors ER or from Signature. You never know where they're going to be exactly taken to. They can be taken locally, but they also get dismissed and moved away. Denison, Texoma, the Plano area, Texarkana, Tyler. Even we had an ambulance in Oklahoma City during the storms on Sunday, transporting a patient up there. We run a lot of miles. We see a lot of patients, provide a lot of care. It just takes longer and longer. Those type of calls, those long distance transports, have doubled in 4 years. Where we used to do 300 last year, and we did 830 in 2018. Right now, we've done 460 just for 2019. That puts a lot of stress and strain on your staff trying to cover the local stuff as well at the same time taking the long distance things. We've got some plans in order of trying to meet those challenges. We know we have 3 ambulances staffed 24/7. We've expanded our half-day truck to 7 days a week, 12 hours. We also keep at least a paramedic crew on call. We're trying to grow our PRN staff. We're trying to do a lot of strategies there, trying to meet those needs as they occur, but they're kind of difficult to plan for. That's the most difficult thing, is how do you staff up at the right time? You don't want to pay people just to sit around. You want people, you're paying them to come in to work to make the call done. So the city manager and y'all added a staffing position back in October, and that helped stabilize that halftime truck that works 7 days a week from 7 to 7. So that helped a whole lot and allowed us to attract and retain people. That's our other issue, is attracting people, then keeping them after we spend all this money on training. So those, I can talk another 30 or 40 minutes, but I think I've got the high sign that we're running a lot of calls, we're taking care of a lot of patients, and we're driving a lot of hours and a lot of miles. We appreciate y'all's support there, everything y'all have done. Anything else y'all want to talk about at any point in time, I'll be glad to meet you anywhere or in my office or after the meeting or whenever to talk anything about doing this. Any questions? Thank you.
So we've saved the best for last.
The woman.
And I should have brought my glasses so I could read this. I apologize. First, I want to talk about the building. In February, we had the roof on the original building redone, so the roof is all good. So now we're going to start working on interior renovations or repairs. Things like bubbled plaster where the water had leaked down from the roof, some carpet that needs to be replaced, that type of thing. Also, in the next 3 to 5 years, we need to look at redoing and restoring the outside of the building. Very similar to what was done here at the City Hall. Cleaning it, resealing the capstone, cleaning and redoing joints, that type of thing. I personally won't be doing that, but, you know, I don't like to clean. The other thing is the art. Through the generosity of the Friends, we have managed to get 2 of the paintings done. Last year we did Davy Crockett. This year, in fact, just Friday the 14th of June, I took Paris Fire down to the Restorers for restoration. I haven't asked for any money in the next budget year for that, but in years to come, I will be asking for more money to continue that. We have 1 Bywaters left that needs to be cleaned, restored, and reframed, and a couple of others that just need some minor work done to them. Programming. We've been working on our programming, trying to add more to it. We've been working with the Boys and Girls Club in the last couple of months. One of the things that we've done is I've issued them what I called the library internet-only card. They're only able to access the internet with it. They can't check items out, so I don't have to worry about things being overdue. But I've given 10 of those cards to the Boys and Girls Club, to City Square, and to Aiken Elementary for their students and the people that come in looking for services to be able to access our services online, like looking for job, employment, helping with the resumes, that type of thing, for the students' homework help, and so on. Also, one of the programs that we're having with our summer reading this year will be presented at the Boys Club the same day, later in the afternoon. That's at our cost. We're doing that because I thought it'd be a good thing to do, and besides, it's easier to take them there than get all the Boys and Girls Club kids up to the library, where I don't have room for them. A couple of other programs that we're working on in this fall. One is a series of presentations concerning Alzheimer's. We'll be doing that in coordination with the Dallas chapter of the Alzheimer's organization. I'm looking at a short series of programs that would basically start with the basics of Alzheimer's. Denotes the warning signs, what you can do, help, caregiver help, that type of thing. Another one that we will be doing in August is Read to a Therapy Dog, which that's been done in several libraries in the area. It's been pretty successful and pretty popular. Basically what the kids do, they sign up for a certain amount of time in a certain day. They come in and they read to the dog. This is very beneficial to the kids because the dog's not going to judge them on how they can read. So it helps them gain a little more confidence in themselves and in their reading abilities. This summer, for the first time, we've had an adult summer reading challenge. So we've challenged adults to read 10 books in 3 months out of 10 of 13 categories. I'm pretty pleased that we had 25 people sign up for that. It doesn't sound like a lot, but considering our adult programming things, that's a pretty good number. And last, this is a good thing, beginning of Monday, October the 7th, the library will be open on Mondays a full day from 9 to 6 as opposed to currently we're open 1 to 6. So we'll be adding 4 hours to our total weekly hours open from 51 up to 55. So, any questions?
Okay, thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you.
All right. Item number 21, discuss and make appointments to the various boards and commissions. We usually do these alphabetically, and there's a couple of boards that have a particularly large number of applicants per slot available, and I think it would make it a little easier if we did those two boards first, like the PEDC and Planning and Zoning. If y'all have no objection, I'd like to just do those two first, then we'll go alphabetical after that. Hopefully we won't have to move people from one board to another, or are less likely to do that. So the first will be PEDC. We have one vacancy and numerous applicants. I'm going to nominate Mahir Punkic for the PEDC. And anyone else, any nominations, please? Yes.
First of all, there's a lot of really good
really
applicants on here. But I'm going to nominate Richard Manning. Richard was pivotal in the American Spiral World, several other projects. I think he's very well qualified and offers some continuity in the PEDC, and I nominate Richard.
Any other nominations? Yes.
I'd like to nominate Audie Early.
All right.
I was just going to say, it's a hard decision because you've got some people that are already serving in an outstanding way on other boards, and you hate to lose them on one board to get them on another board.
Yeah, and I nominate Mahir because I've known him for a long time, and he's getting more and more involved in city politics and does an excellent job, and I think he would be good for that too. But he's also doing an excellent job on planning and zoning. We got a lot of good qualified people. Any other nominations? All right. You want to pick one, the first one to vote on?
Okay. Do you have them all in here? Richard Manning.
Richard Manning. Okay. All in favor of Richard Manning, raise your hand. Okay.
Mahir.
Mahir. Okay. All in favor of Mahir? 4. Okay. That's 4 votes. Mahir's on the PEDC. Congratulations. Now, next comes Planning and Zoning. We have, let's see, 2 vacancies. Well, actually, we have 3 vacancies now, correct? No, I'm sorry, I take it back. I'm looking at the wrong one here.
We have three now.
It'll be three now.
We have 3 vacancies now, okay. So I'll open the floor for nominations on planning and zoning.
I'd like to nominate Chad Lindsay.
Okay. Billy?
Audie Early.
I'm sorry?
Audie Early.
Okay,
Like to nominate Clifton Finley.
okay. And I'd like to nominate William Walker. Yes,
I'd like to nominate Francine Neely.
okay. Francine Neely. So, any other nominations? Let's just list those 5 people again. We've got Francine Neely,
Chad Lindsay,
Chad Lindsay,
Buddy Early, Clifton Finlay, William Walker, Francine Neely.
okay.
Okay.
May I ask something here?
Yes.
How is this gonna work now that there's, 5 people and 3 spots? Do we each get 3 votes?
Good question. How do we want to handle this? We get to handle it however we want to.
You get to vote for 3 people.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
Yeah, you
get
can
3
vote for it,
votes,
yeah.
okay.
Okay, the first one that I drew out was William Walker.
William Walker. Okay.
Clifton Finlay.
Clifton Finley gets 4 votes. He is on. Okay.
Audie Early. Francine Neely.
Okay, Francine Neely is on. So we voted for,
We've got one more to go.
I'm sorry, one more. I'm sorry.
Chad Lindsay.
Chad Lindsay. Chad's on. Okay. All right. Now, these people will be taken out of the running, assuming they, unless they don't want one of the other board positions. So starting alphabetically now, we'll continue with the airport board. We have 2 vacancies, and we have 6 applicants for those vacancies. And open up for nominations here.
I'd like to nominate Scott Hearn.
Scott Hearn. And
Oh, I'll nominate Ray Ball.
Ray Ball. Any other nominations? I think they're both on then. Unless we'll vote on each one for, okay, Scott Hearn and Ray Ball. Okay, they're both on. The band commission, we have 2 vacancies and we have 2 applicants here, Lucia Bunch and Cleon Drake. You want to put those 2 on the band commission? Yes. Any problem with that? Okay, those 2 are on. Building and standards, let's see, we have 3 vacancies and 2 applicants.
One.
Oh, that's right. Yep, one.
Mr. Walker pulled out.
William Walker pulled out, so we only have 1. Do we want to table this and advertise for some more applicants for this? I mean, let's do that on this, if the council's all right with that, and see if we can get some more people interested in this. Historic Preservation Commission, we have 3 vacancies and 7 applicants. I'll open this for nominations, please. Yes.
I'd like to nominate Glee Emmett.
Sounds good to me. Glee Emmett,
I'd like to nominate Laura Caffey.
Laura Caffey, and I'll nominate Christopher Dukes. Dukes, I get it right? Any other nominations? Well, this is easy. We have 3 nominations. With the council's approval, we'll put all 3 of those on the board.
Good.
Okay.
Excellent.
Housing Authority, the mayor is supposed to do this. We have 2 applicants, Bonnie Blinsky and Shatara Moore, and I'll put them both
Okay.
on. Yeah. Library Advisory Board, We have 2 vacancies, and we have 3 applicants, unless some of these, no.
Fran Neely's
Fran-
been appointed.
She's
so-
already been
Nancy has
appointed, that's
been
correct. So we have 2 applicants, Carol James and Melanie Loffmiller. Council want to put both those on? Okay, they're both on. This is easier than I thought. Okay. Main Street Advisory Board is next. We have 3 vacancies, and we have 6 applicants, but how many of those?
Now, Mr. Walker, pulled out
Yeah, he put
everything except
everything
for-
except that, okay. So I'll open the floor, I'll nominate Shelley McDowell for this one.
I'll nominate Katie Tate.
Katie Tate, let's see.
So Mr. Walker pulled out of everything, or?
Except for this one. That's what
Except-
I'm gonna nominate
this one.
Mr. Walker.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Oh, I thought he pulled out of everything except for planning and zoning.
No, he only pulled out of one.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Is her name?
All right, we got 3 nominations. Any other nominations?
What was the last one? I'm sorry.
William Walker.
Okay.
With 3 nominations in 3 places, I guess we're going to put those 3 on with the council's permission here.
That's good.
Okay, in the PEDC we've done, in planning and zoning we've done. Traffic Commission, Cleon is already on. We've got 3 vacancies, a vacant vacancy, and 2 other people. So we actually only have 2 applicants. No, John Euler, Kimberly McCann. Put those 2, council want to put those 2 on. We still have a vacancy on that
Yes,
board,
I'll
right?
advertise again.
Okay, we can advertise again. If we get an applicant, we can consider them. And that's, for some reason, the Board of Adjustments is a separate agenda item, right? By state law, okay. Okay, so congratulations to all the new board members. We're excited to have you and look forward to working with you in the future. Item number 21, discuss and make appointments. I'm sorry, item number 22, discuss and act on a resolution appointing members to the Board of Adjustments. We have 3 vacancies, and
We only have 2 applicants now because Cleon's on.
Cleon's
board
gone,
Mr.
and-
McCann is on another.
okay, so we have Ruth Ann Alsabrook and Brady Fisher, and we have a vacant alternate position still. So we really only have 2 applicants. Would y'all want to put those 2 applicants in the active
Yes.
positions? We still have an alternate position.
Yes.
Okay, and that's done. Item number 23, we get to discuss and appoint council members to serve as liaisons. Let's go through them all again. Airport, who wants airport? Any objections to Ms. Portugal? Sounds good to me. Band commission, I'll take, unless somebody can play a saxophone better than I can. Okay. Building and standards, yes, sir, okay.
Who was that?
Derek.
Hughes. We've got
Historic preservation.
historic preservation, thank you. Ms. Knox, anybody else? Okay. Housing Authority, we don't usually have a liaison to that, do we? Library Advisory Board liaison. Anyone want the library liaison? I don't guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I don't think we've had one in the
Okay.
past. I'm not sure.
Main Street. Clayton, okay. PEDC.
Make it
Billy.
unanimous.
We'll go.
Yeah.
Raise your hand. Let's all make it unanimous.
Billy hadn't been on one yet, but we'll put Billy now. But how many liaisons can we have? Just one?
Yeah, that's fine. We can just go, though. I mean,
But you can still go,
Yeah, you can
okay?
go.
Yeah, as long as you don't have a quorum. If you have a quorum, as long as you don't discuss things, you're fine. Planning and zoning, I'll take again, and if you want it, Billy, or you can show up too, so I'll officially have it. And I don't guess we have traffic commission or board of adjustments liaisons, do we?
we did, I thought.
All right, and that takes care of it. Item number 24, we're going to convene into executive session pursuant to section 551.087 of the Texas Government Code to discuss or deliberate regarding commercial or financial information that the governmental body has received from a business prospect that the governmental body seeks to have locate, stay, or expand in or near the territory of the governmental body and with which the governmental body is conducting economic development negotiations, or to deliberate the offer of a financial or other incentive to a business prospect described by subdivision 1 as follows: Campbell Soup tax abatements. It is now 7:03 and we are going into executive session. Okay, it's now 7:18 and we're out of executive session. We discussed amending and terminating the multi-serving beverage line tax abatement, and we're going to instruct the city attorney to draw up the paperwork for that. All right. Any future events?
You do have a council meeting in 2 days.
2 days. Just for those who cannot get enough of a good thing. 2 days.
But it'll be a quick one.
It's going to be real quick, lightning fast.
Another appointment to AdCog, and I did it.
I'm sorry, what?
Not yet.
AdCog.
AdCog.
Appointment to
Texas Council of
AdCog.
Governments.
Oh, okay.
And
That
I
did
know.
not, that did not come up tonight, did it?
No.
That's what he was
Understand
asking.
you, I'm sorry.
I didn't see it.
I didn't understand the question.
He was asking if the AtCog representative was decided today?
It was not decided.
And
It
I
was in
told
the
him-
memo, but we did not discuss it.
Right.
I've been doing it. I'd like to do it again. If nobody else
Okay.
does.
Is that fine?
And as far as, I know Jerry and them are gone, but John, they did a great job getting Leon Williams Park ready for the Juneteenth event. So thank the staff and everything. They had, yeah, it went great, and they did a great job on the park.
Mayor?
Yes.
I've got one question. Can we come back to, I'm sorry, to the memo that I've given you all? I'm sorry, the liaisons and appointments to boards and commissions, because we do need one for our Texas Council of Government.
Well, that's what Billy was
That's
just
what he
saying.
was just
He
saying.
wants to be
Yeah.
on.
Oh,
it.
okay,
It
okay,
wasn't
okay.
listed,
I'm
sorry.
it was listed under boards and commissions.
Okay.
Okay, Billy is the,
Okay, great.
All right, let's adjourn.
All right.
Thanks.